Hi, Mary Bethune. I'm Dr. Ratliff. I am so happy to be joining you today with reading one of my favorite books, Finding Langston. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and get into chapter 18. I woke this morning to the wind whipping against the window, so I shoved Daddy's old gloves into my jacket pocket before I head to school. I'm surprised how fast I got used to the cold, even though the wind makes me hunch up my shoulders and walk fast. Both me and Lyman got detention after school today, so I'm going to have to wait to go to the library. Not that I'm in a rush to tell Miss Cook I destroyed a book. I hope she don't take my library card anyway. If I think too hard on it, I'm going to want to hurt Lyman all over again. So all the way to school, I think about Mama watching and Daddy's man-to-man talk and the Bible to get the mad thoughts out of my head. When I walk into the schoolyard, it's the first time since I started I don't hear the name Country Boy. Some of the boys in my class even smile at me. Takes a while to realize I must have done what they've been wanting to do for a long while. Lyman's still gonna be Lyman. Ain't no change in that. Just like I promised Daddy I would, I walk right up to him and say, "Sorry, Lyman." He nods his head and walks away with Errol. Clem is watching from the other side of the schoolyard. I'm still not sure what to make of Clem. Detention is a whole hour. A man teacher who looks mean as can be sits at a desk in front while we sit in desks in a classroom not saying a word. Anybody says anything gets another day of detention. But this ain't nothing like library quiet, more like jail quiet. Half the older boys in the room I've never seen before and don't want to see again. Lyman knows a few though. When detention is over, I rush to get my books and get out of the classroom. There's no need to rush today. Lyman's not even looking at me. He's talking to some of the older boys, so I take my time walking down the stairs, through the schoolyard and back to the apartment. I have some pennies in my pocket, so I stop at the corner store for some candy. The bell on the door jingles as I open it and close it behind me. Inside it's dark and smells like cigarettes and mints. Mr. Jackson sits on the stool listening to the Cardinals and Red Sox game on the radio behind the counter, an unlit cigar hanging out the corner of his mouth. Boys at school been talking about the World Series. Seems in Chicago, everybody's a baseball fan but me and Daddy. Even though I know exactly what I'm getting, I take my time walking up and down the case, running my hands along the wooden counter. Finally, I grab a roll of lifesavers and put my pennies in Mr. Jackson's fat, sweaty hand. He puts the money in the register and reaches back to turn up the knob on the radio. I look in the window of the shoe store next door, wondering if Daddy's gonna be able to get me some new shoes for the winter comes. Maybe even the boots they have in the window with shiny black leather and thick, strong laces. I've seen pictures of snow in my school books, and I don't think my shoes are gonna hold up. I get nods from the men standing in a group in front of a barber shop. At the corner of 43rd Street, a newsboy holds out the paper, shouting the headline, "Lewis KO, Marcelo in record time." Can't no one beat the brown bomber. Folks laugh as they pass, like Joe Louis is fighting for all us colored folks. I remember the first time I walked home from school. I was so scared I'd get lost. Sweat prickled under my arms. Everywhere I looked, folks looked like they were moving so fast. I wonder why everyone was in such a hurry. Now I can't tell if folks have slowed down or I have just sped up. Up ahead, I see Miss Fulton sashaying towards the building. I see some men tipping their hats to her face, then turning to look at her behind as she walks past. Miss Fulton keeps walking like she doesn't even notice, but I can tell she does. She sees me too and waves hello and waits for me at the stairs. "Well, hello, Langston," she smiles. Ever since the week when Daddy went away, Miss Fulton is acting like we are some buddies. She's fine and all, but I'm not sure whether she's being nice because of Daddy or nice because of me. Hello, Miss Fulton. I was hoping I'd see you, she says. Ma'am, I asked. I wanted to show you a new book of poetry I found. I thought you might like it. By Langston Hughes? Because I read nearly all the ones in the library. I know I'm talking fast and excited, but I can't stop. Speaking of the library, did you ever talk to your father, she asks. Yes, ma'am, I say. And he don't mind me going to the library. I don't know when lying started coming so easy to me. I'm sorry, Mama. Didn't I tell you he wouldn't mind, she says. Yes, ma'am. Well, I'll drop the book by tomorrow, she says at her door. Thank you, Miss Fulton. The code follows me into the apartment. Daddy says the landlord turns on the heat only when he's in the mood. So I guess he ain't in the mood today. I ain't allowed to light the stove, so I'm gonna be cold till Daddy gets home. On my bed, I flip through Weary Blue's book and let my mind wander. In my daydream, I see Daddy seeing Mama for the first time reading a book under a tree. And I see Mama writing in her fancy letters the words of Langston Hughes, word by word, in a letter to Daddy. I picture Daddy trying to make sense of those pretty words. He said he didn't know nothing about poems, but when he left everything else behind, he kept the words she wrote tied in a ribbon and brought them all the way to Chicago. She never told him that Langston Hughes made her heart sing the way he does mine, that she wanted to name her baby boy after the poet she copied in her letters. I ain't got the heart to tell Daddy those weren't Mama's words. Seemed like Mama left us both with her secrets, and we are bound to keep it that way. All right, boys and girls, that was chapter 18. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to read chapter 19 of Finding Langston. Enjoy.